Let's start with Ohio State, Oregon. You got to start there. Let's
Yeah.
start with Ohio State, Oregon. What a massive win for the Oregon Ducks. End up winning 32-31. Just a fantastic football game, Ted, with a very strange ending. It it started to look like Will Howard was going to lead the Buckeyes on a game-winning drive. That offensive pass interference call on Jeremiah Smith, which it was a good call. Probably
Mhm.
one you absolutely have to call. That's a big push. That was a that was a huge play on that drive. And then Ohio State didn't realize that the clock was running and they let 6 or 7 seconds go off the clock.
Got to be ready to snap it, man. I I don't know if you've noticed the same thing, and this has probably always been the case, but college football, horrible clock management almost on a game by game basis
It's
in crunch
almost like
time.
a it's almost like a lot of people don't know the rules.
Right. Yeah. Don't know the rules or don't know how to use the new 2 minute timeout. Like whenever you're in a clock saving mode, don't know how to use that properly.
He's got a speaker in his helmet. Is Chip Kelly not going, "Hey, you got to be on the ball ready to go. You got to be." He's got a speaker in his helmet.
Right.
Someone fudged up.
Yep.
But it is it's unfortunate that the lasting impression of that game for Will Howard is him sliding on that last play
Right.
because he played awesome. 28 of 35, 326, 3 touchdowns. And all everyone remembers is he slid. I suppose that's the life of a quarterback. But
I
that's
know.
just
And like he slid and then the shock on his face. Uh, what happened? Where'd the clock go?
did you see do you think did you see the play before that
Yeah.
where Oregon got the penalty for 12 men on the field? You think they did it on purpose?
Ooh, I guess I didn't think about that.
Because they got the penalty for 12 on the field. You don't give up a big play. Time goes off the clock, and enough time came off the clock where Ohio State only had time for one more play.
The old Belichick false start on punt play.
Maybe Dan Lanning knows the rules.
Yeah. Just throw you an extra deep safety back there.
Pretty interesting, huh?
Yeah. Yep.
But big storyline coming out of this game is what a performance from Dylan Gabriel.
Yeah.
Turns out he can throw the deep ball now.
Had a
Just
couple
ripping
nice
it down the
runs.
field
Yeah.
for the Ducks. No underthrows, just ripping it down the field. 341, 2 passing touchdowns, had the long rushing touchdown. He's an awesome dude. Good for him.
It's good for him, but
But on the
I
day where OU just gets smoked by Texas, and we did not have a good time there, and he goes out there and lights it up. It's a rough combo, man. It's just a
I
rough
know, and
combo.
it's just gonna reignite the whole conversation all over again that I do not want to have. But good for him, played well. That run late was awesome and looked like the atmosphere looked incredible. Great football game. Yeah. It's just such your Will Howard played a very good game, but and I'm not necessarily just dumping this on him. It left you very unsatisfied the way that it ended with just a slide in the middle of the field.
Yeah. It felt like that was an awesome football game. It felt like it deserved a more dramatic ending than
Like just a heave to the end zone, something, whatever it might be.
a lot of screenshots out there of Will Howard with his knee on the ground with 1 second left on the clock.
Oh yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Interesting.
I mean, I didn't go back and look at that, and it's crazy on those plays. Like typically you'd think they would look at it, but they were gone, just out. See ya, game over.
Jordan James is a lot of fun for Oregon. That is a violent running back.
Yeah, he's good.
Evan Stewart, a wide receiver, the dude's a playmaker. They got they got talent at the skill spots. Quarterback's playing well. Thought that, coming into the game, hey, how would they hold up at the line of scrimmage? That was my big question. They battled, man. Oregon's got
Ohio State's
themselves a
got
good
a
football
hell of a
team.
D line too. I mean, that's not. I mean, to play well, run the ball well, generate that type of offense. I mean, coming in, a lot of people suggested Ohio State had the best defense in the country, and Oregon was able to generate quite a bit of offense.
At this point, would be very surprised if we don't see these two teams play again. Big Ten title game, maybe, and if it's not in the Big Ten title game, then probably see them at maybe some point in the playoff, like maybe both, but
Yeah.
two really good football teams that they had everyone's eyes on them, the big stage, and but it felt like both teams delivered, which is like that's the best thing in college football when it all comes together like that. That was fun.
No, I agree, and you're kind of, we get to see Texas against Georgia coming up this week, but Oregon, best team in the Big Ten, Texas, best team in the SEC. How weird does that sound?
This is a little strange. Only other thing on this game, other than biggest win of Dan Lanning's career, another top five loss for Ryan Day.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see the guy get ejected for spitting on someone?
I didn't see that.
Trayshawn Holden, wide receiver, ejected for spitting
On a player.
on a player.
I can
I
get
I
behind
will
that.
be I will be perfectly honest. I did not know you could get tossed from a football game for spitting. You all the stuff you get away with in this sport and you get thrown out of a game for spitting?
I'm okay with it.
Really?
Yeah.
You shouldn't spit on another man. I'm not saying you should, but doesn't that feel awfully punitive for spitting?
No.
Okay.
Spitting is
Weakest thing you can do.
it's like the weakest,
Yeah. No,
cheapest
that's a good point.
bullshit you can ever even do.
Yeah.
It's like I I don't think you should be thrown out of the game for punching someone in the face mask. I think you're just an idiot. All right. I mean, if you want to do that, maybe if a guy doesn't have a helmet on and you throw a punch at him or swing your helmet as a weapon, yeah, throw him out for that. But anything else, I, physically, I'm fine. But if you're to the point where you're going to spit on someone, toss them.
I think you've convinced me. It
Yeah.
was just really strange. It's like he's been disqualified for spitting.
When there's like a fifth, something that you know is a 15, like without a doubt, you are going to get a 15-yard penalty. Like some celebrations, there's there's a little bit of a gray area, right? Was he taunting? Was he in someone's face? Was he not? Spitting on someone, you know you're going to get a 15-yarder, and emptying the clip on a guy that you just tackled, you know you're going to get a 15-yarder. I say throw guys the hell out of the football game for that.
But it's interesting. The the emptying the mag celebration, you get to stay in the football game. Spitting, gotta go to the locker room. Fake machine gunning someone to death, you stay. Spitting, you're gone. It's just interesting.
It is. It is.
Football's funny sometimes. Hell of a win for Oregon. And it'll
It
be
was.
interesting to see where their season goes from here. I thought Ohio State was going to win that football game. It, it was in the balance there late, but congrats to the Ducks. That's a big time win. All right, let's hit one more game. Ole Miss, LSU. Another game that delivered. LSU wins it in overtime, 29-26. And it was a lot of fun watching these offenses. I don't know how it made you feel, Ted, but watching the caliber of wide receivers in this game
Big time.
and the QB play, That throw from Nussmeier
The final throw.
on the drive to Titan regulation
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
to Aaron Anderson, where he's covered and he throws him open, he lets it rip.
Right
Like you
down the
can't
middle of
even
the field.
see him. You can't even see the receiver behind the defender when he throws it. That's the stuff, man.
That's
Just
how you got to
big
do
time
it.
stuff from Nussmeier. And
Good coaching, good job on the receiver, knowing the ball's going to win on that side. It was good.
LSU just churns them out a wide receiver. Anderson and Lacey are both just fantastic. But what'd you think of Brian Kelly kicking the extra point there and playing for overtime?
I I don't have a problem with it. Um, I got no problem with it. At home, good crowd. Think that they had some good momentum there. I got no problem with that. I mean,
Yeah.
that usually what you see if you're at home, extend it. If you're on the road, maybe go for the win, depending on the circumstances of the game. And I mean, obviously, how you're playing really depends on it. And or I, I don't have a problem with it.
I think that everyone's going to remember the throw, but the biggest play on that drive to force overtime was that 4th and 7. I mean, that's a pressure situation for
Was
LSU.
that the
They picked that
scramble
up.
where he's scrambling around?
Yeah, I think it was just like an easy throw and catch.
Yeah, he had some. I mean, the last couple of
Nussmeier's
drives.
good.
Yeah, I was really impressed. He had some really nice throws out there. I mean, he had a couple of WTF moments out there, but he was letting it rip, letting it fly. Just trusting his guys to go make plays. I mean, a lot of his throws are just throw it in an area, right, and let somebody go make the play.
Yeah, it was the 4th and 6. I think can't remember if Mason Taylor was running a drag or if he was running an out, but kind of catches it up high. Nice conversion. But I thought that the overtime was very entertaining. How about that kick from the kid from Ole Miss?
That was crazy.
It,
Drilled it.
it was a disaster of an overtime period
Kept
offensively.
going backwards. Center, not good by the center.
And but he drills a what was that, 57 yards
Yeah,
for
and
Caden Davis.
it had room.
He kicked it from the eye of the tiger.
Nuts.
I mean, it was just an absolutely clutch kick for them, but it's not overly complicated. They got the matchup that they wanted with Kyron Lacey. Nussmeier saw it right away after he went in motion, said, I'm going to throw it up to my guy, and went up and made a play.
Put it in
Game
the
over.
area. Jump ball. I got you. Right? Now what CeeDee Lamb was saying to Dak.
Yeah,
Jump ball for I got you. Put it in the air. You got players. Put it in the area. Let them go make plays. Like the guy that's defending the player and the football has a much more difficult job than the guy that's just going to get the ball.
it's pretty crazy with the way that the season started for LSU, that USC game, and now, hey, they're sitting here 5-1.
And they were in. There was a portion of that game, what, in the late third, early fourth against USC, where it looked like they were going to run away with it. The
So,
Yeah.
meanwhile, you look at Ole Miss. It was supposed to be the year. All in, collected a ton of talent, you know, cutting those NIL checks. Now they're 5-2.
Mm.
But if you're Lane Kiffin and you're a guy on that team, or even if you're an Ole Miss fan, you got to look at that game and go, that's one we should have had. Well, they missed a 32-yard field goal, got stuffed on 4th and 1 inside the 5-yard line in the fourth quarter, or excuse me, in the first quarter, fumbled at their own 25 before the half, gave LSU 3 points. Early fourth quarter, dart through an interception in the end zone. I mean, they held LSU to 84 yards rushing. They lost a football game.
Yeah, and even in overtime, like shot themselves in the foot in overtime, going backwards on offense with
Yeah.
mistakes. Well, the kicker bailed them out, but still, I mean, not the final possession you wanted.
No. Two really good games though. Appreciate you. Appreciate those four teams. I I needed it. I was I was eating my feelings, drinking my feelings away, and at least I had some quality football to watch. Ted made me feel a
Man,
little better. It made a little of the pain go away.
the bad thing is like the more eyeballs we've had on our football games, the worse our offenses looked.
That's a really good point. That doesn't make me feel any better, Ted. Why'd you have to point that out?
I don't know.
You're exactly right though. All right.